ElecHead is quality over quantity. It's a short puzzle platformer about 2 hours in length, but is packed with clever, well-curated puzzles that take the game's simple core mechanics and work with every single detail of them. In ElecHead, you are a robot with a battery for a head inside a completely metal spaceship, and as a result, every time you're in contact with a surface, you electrify it and everything it connects to. As well as giving the metal a lovely orange hue, this also energizes certain blocks, traps and platforms throughout the various rooms or levels, activating invisible blocks, raising elevators or triggering the ship's defenses. I say every time you're in contact, but more accurately I should say every time your head is in contact. Because in ElecHead, your head and your body don't have to be in the same place. You can fire your head up or to the sides a fixed distance, and then get 10 seconds to run your body around before piecing yourself back together, allowing for interesting puzzles where you can get the battery to previously unreachable places, or sneak through sections without activating traps. This is effectively the only mechanic the player has other than basic traditional 2D platforming, but ElecHead uses it really well. Sometimes puzzles in games are good because they're difficult or complicated, with intricate solutions involving clever, unintuitive movements or having enormous scope to create an overwhelming challenge that feels almost epic to solve. ElecHead is not one of those games. So often the game throws something at you where you spend minutes being completely stumped, only to realise the solution is so simple that you can't believe you didn't think about it sooner. ElecHead is all about the fundamentals of the mechanics. The puzzles force you to think about exactly how gameplay elements work or interact, and then find the idea that makes an impossible looking situation completely trivial. And that is one of the best things a puzzle game can do. Puzzle games are all about the moments of revelation, and those are often at their most powerful when a solution is both clean and hidden in plain sight. And ElecHead does this without adding in unnecessary busywork or obstacles. Once you've solved a puzzle, the solution is either fast or fun to implement, and so there are no tedious moments to play through. While it might have taken 90 minutes to solve all the puzzles the first time, I could now run through the length of the spaceship in more like 10 minutes, because on the first attempt my time was spent in the planning and the thinking, not in the execution. One thing that's really cool about ElecHead is how nothing in the game is arbitrary. Every detail of how a mechanic works is consistent, and it works that way for a reason. Like how if you fire your head forward while running, you will just catch up to it again before it hits the floor. And this extends beyond your character controls as well, allowing ElecHead to use puzzles that don't even involve the battery, instead using something as seemingly basic as the checkpoint system to present the player with a challenge. ElecHead does a great job of explaining its mechanics. The game's invisible tutorials are so invisible that it's only in hindsight you realise they were even tutorials at all, because they made you aware of an interaction without ever explicitly drawing attention to it. It's exceptionally accomplished puzzle design, and on top of that, ElecHead switches up the pacing of its gameplay by making use of its platforming. Occasionally setting up a room that could be sprinted through quite quickly as a break between puzzles, or by incorporating a quick burst of skilled platforming into the solution for a level. Nothing you're ever likely to be stuck on, but just something that adds variety to the gameplay. And stepping back from that gameplay for a second, the sound and audio design are also on point. The visuals are clean with a strong default colour palette, neat animations and a cool optional CRT effect. The soundtrack is fun but unintrusive, and the sound effects are really good. Although by far the best audio feature in the game is the little sliding scale that plays as you scroll down the options menu. I now want that in every game I play. ElecHead also has a second element to its design. The first part of the game is the puzzles and the platforming, but the second, smaller part is the secret hunting. Dotted around the spaceship are hidden side rooms and alternative exits that usually lead to the discovery of golden computer chips. It's something that adds a lot of charm. You'll move through a room and notice a platform slightly out of place, and if you're inquisitive enough to investigate, then you get a small reward. ElecHead even teaches you how to look for these by explicitly showing off that invisible walls exist, and even using them in regular gameplay. These extra chips are really enjoyable to find because they're always hidden in relatively plain view. Just like the solutions to the puzzles, you'll often go back and wonder how you didn't notice something the first time. And because traversing the ship is so swift once you've figured out the puzzles, going back and looking for these secrets is a breeze. It's an excellent bit of bonus gameplay if you travel through all the rooms and want more. And because of ElecHead's sheer quality, I absolutely did. Some of the trickier secrets also add in a whole bunch of new puzzle solving, which is excellent, and eventually lead to an endgame sequence that is just superb. And even with all of those extras, the game still fits into a tight 3 or 4 hour runtime. I've had ElecHead on my radar since seeing the alpha on the Alpha Beta Gamer YouTube channel back in 2019, and it looked like fun, but I wasn't prepared for just how much I was going to enjoy it when I finally played the full release. Clearly the time was well spent between that initial alpha and the 1.0 release late last year, and I think ElecHead is an absolute must-play for fans of the puzzle or puzzle platformer genre. The core puzzle idea is smart, with excellent level design and engaging solutions, and ElecHead's all-round quality is just so strong. I'd be shocked if you didn't enjoy it.